Planet Dolan. Some roads are beautiful, others want you to take a slightly slippery step and fall to your death. It's all magical. Here are 15 of the craziest roads that really shouldn't exist, but kinda do. I'm Danger Dolan, and today I will be your narrator.
Number 15.
Yungas Road. Known to the locals as Death Road, it's a surprisingly beautiful trip in the Bolivian plains, if you're totally okay with the imminent risk of horrifying death. Hundreds of people die each year because of this road. There's almost no railing, and nothing to catch you if you fall from more than 15,000 feet by taking the wrong step. This road was manually cut into the mountain by prisoners from Paraguay in the early 1900s. While there are alternatives to traveling along this path, this is still a good way to prove you have balls.
Number 14.
Atlantic Ocean Road. These are a series of 7 to 8 bridges together known as the tourist attraction Road in the Ocean. It curves and dips over Norwegian waters. You're driving through it, storm appears, can't see shit, strong wind, temperature drops. Oh, look, I fell in and now I'm dead. It was first unleashed in the 1980s and actually contends for the title of most beautiful road in the world as well as the most dangerous. Crazily enough, it was originally pitched as a railway line for trains to pass over, but it was scrapped because they came to the conclusion that trains really don't do well over oceans. I tend to agree.
Number 13.
Passo dello Stelvio, also been referred to as Serpent Way. This one crisscrosses crazily all over an Italian mountain at 9,000 feet. In addition to being dangerous, it's also on the list of highest mountain roads in all of Europe. Most drive here because of the scenic views, as the roads can curve, pivot and bend at the most unexpected angles, to the point you can barely see what's coming within inches of you with every turn. This place gets tons of tourists and motorists, so getting conservative with speed is key to not dying. It's like Yungas Road, but if you fall, you won't immediately die.
Number 12.
Sichuan-Tibet Highway. Over there in China, we find a road that nobody in their right mind should actually drive on. Almost 1 in 10 people who go along this highway never come back out. There have been truck drivers who drove through here in winter and who vocally equate it to driving through frozen hell. Constant skidding, wreckages of cars, buses, trucks, all over the highway. It's almost post-apocalyptic. That is, if you survive the landslides and rock falls coming off the mountains, is it worth driving through this to deliver those grains of rice? Is it though? Just go home and hug your kids. Rocks likely won't kill you there.
Number 11.
Col de la Bonnette is a road wrapping around the French Alps, most famous for claiming that it's the highest road in Europe, coming in at over 9,200 feet high. Now, while this isn't actually the highest, it's still so intense that you will actually encounter a volcanic atmosphere once you reach the summit. This one was built in the mid-1800s and completed mid-1900s, being featured in the Tour de France many years before. Get ready for unbearably steep turns and try not to fall. By the time your body finishes rolling down the mountain, you'll be 2 strips of meat on a single leftover bone. A lovely thought.
Number 10.
Yonge Street. This one might be familiar to those living in Ontario, Canada. Officially recognized by Guinness World Records as the longest street in the entire world, it runs for almost 1,900 kilometers from the border of Minnesota in the US to the shores of Toronto. Although it is contested if Yonge Street and Highway 11 are in fact the same entity. So this originally started out as a military road carved from forest to allow British troops to more easily invade America. If you want to experience rugged, gorgeous Canada, this road will give you the perfect view all the way down through lakes, national parks, wide open prairies, bridges, towns. Also, it's still a perfect road for invasions. You heard it here first. Canada, get ready. Coming to get you.
Number 9.
Guoliang Tunnel Road. Once upon a time, 350 people were isolated in a small village, right? Cut off from the rest of the world. So the government ignored their pleas. How are we going to get stock for food and all that? So what did they do? 13 burly dudes from the village busted out their hammers and chiseled a cave road into the nearby mountain by hand. 5 years later, a 1,200 meter tunnel was built into the mountainside and travel became instantly possible. They had to sell goats and food just to be able to afford the hammers and tools for the job, and now it's even a tourist attraction. Even if the road is so small it allows one car to weave through at minimum speed under the crushing weight of a mountain held up by tiny pillars that could break any second. It's great. 10 out of 10.
Number 8.
Fairy Meadows. Don't be fooled by the name. This is barely even a road. It's more of a flat, one-lane dirt track. Barely enough to fit one car. No handrails. In fact, it's not even enough to fit a car. By the end, it's so narrow that you'll need to walk on foot or just get out of your car and ride a bike. The whole thing goes for over 9 kilometers. It was originally built by local villagers many hundreds of years ago. We just haven't found a need to improve it since. Deaths everywhere, impassable sections. Doesn't get better than this.
Number 7.
Eyre Highway.
Down here in Australia, we don't have any of your fancy 9,000 kilometer high mountain routes. What we got? A big fucking road.
Down on the Nullarbor Plains, this 1,600 kilometer road linking Western Australia with South is the greatest thing since Uluru.
And that was a big fucking rock, mate.
This road is the original endurance test. No risk of death from falling off a mountain, no. But there ain't shit all else too. A flat, endless plain, no trees, but kangaroos will routinely jump out in front of you to make sure you're awake. Oh, you ran out of fuel? Oh, well, guess what?
You're fucked. Welcome to Australia.
Number 6.
Spreuerhofstraße. This unpronounceable thing. Those crafty Germans redefining streets over there. This one's pretty unique. The smallest street in the entire world. Barely enough to fit one person, ranging between 31 and 40 centimeters wide. It's the ultimate weight tester. Suck in your guts. Curiously, this street was an accident caused by the aftermath of some devastating house fires in the 1700s, trying to fit 2 buildings in the same area and leaving a bit of a gap. The house next to it is so run down that they decided to shore it up and try to stop it from collapsing, simply so they wouldn't lose the world record.
Number 5.
Skipper's Canyon Road. Over there in New Zealand, we find a familiar sounding road, another carved into a cliff face. Always makes for a safe trip through the countryside, right? This one isn't as unstable though. Plenty of warnings before you get there. Tours taking small groups on a scenic tour for some amazing views. This road was built for a gold rush. Unfortunately, there is absolutely no room for oncoming traffic. If a car is coming towards you, prepare to back up. For miles.
Number 4.
The Trans-Siberian Highway. This is a long-ass road, broken up into 7 pieces stretching over 10,000 kilometers, constructed piece by inmates of Soviet labor camps. The thing is, it's so long that nobody can be bothered to maintain it. It'll range from pristine, perfect to drive on, to ungodly pothole-ridden terror. Roadworks do happen, but it's way too much ground to cover. This road causes tens of thousands of road deaths. Think of it as a training ground though. Easy mode to prepare you for the fucking Australian highway.
Number 3.
Tianmen Mountain Road, the huge tourist attraction from China. You can take a cable car straight to the top, but you'd miss traveling along a steep road featuring 99 turns to symbolize all the palaces of heaven. It snakes over 6 miles in length, stretches up 4,000 feet in elevation, and features the illustrious Heaven's Gate, in which you walk up a smoky mountain like it's the entrance to heaven. To be honest, I'm just drooling looking at the photos, by the way. We have roads where you can plummet, where you can starve to death, get hit by kangaroos. It is nice to see one where you can just relax. Until the cable car cable snaps and you fall. Of course.
Number 2.
Transfăgărăşan. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry if I butchered it. I'm so terrible. It's making a beautiful roads. We're heading back to Romania to find this one. Built during the 1970s for the military. It required thousands of tons of dynamite to detonate the land to make room for this crazy winding road. This mountain road goes up a maximum height of just over 2,000 meters. Despite the fact they impose a hard 40km/h rule, there have been many reports of deaths on the road, usually from things like brakes failing.
Number 1.
The Taroko Gorge Road. And now to end on, we find a very similar story to the Guoliang Tunnel Road. This gorge, whose name means magnificent and beautiful, is very much true to its name. It's a very thin road, passes through countless cliffs. You'll need to share the road with people walking, bikers, other cars, and the like. This is providing the walls don't crash down on top of you with all the seismic activity. I like how all these roads sound really fascinating, have a really rich history, and yet they all have a small chance to not make you alive anymore if you go check them out. Still want to do it though. That's it for this video. What's the craziest road you guys have ever seen? What was wrong with it? Giant potholes, or was there a dead goat or something in the middle of the road? Let us know in the comment section. I'm gonna pin the best one to the top just for you.